parents' rights in education, and now it's transgender athletes in women's sports. Only 26% of respondents in a new Gallup poll say people should be allowed to play on the team that matches their gender identity, while 69% want them to be limited to teams matching their biological gender, and that number has only gone up over the past 2 years. Sophia Lorey is a 23-year-old activist and former college athlete, and she joins me now. Sophia, good morning to you. What do you think of these numbers?
Yeah, I think they are incredible numbers. And we're seeing even here in California, where I'm from, that 64% of California voters do believe that you should play on your sport teams based off your biological sex.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get 70% of people in this country to agree on just about anything. But that's what's going on here. About 70% believe that women's sports should only include biological women. The Biden administration's position is different. They think that there is a place for biological boys in women's sports. So do you think that this polling could possibly change their stance?
I do believe it could potentially make an impact, but we did just hear the White House press secretary say it's a complicated issue. Although it's common sense, it's not complicated that men should not be in women's sports.
Yeah, well, the president ran as a moderate candidate, but on this one, he's not taking the moderate stance. And if you look at the numbers even further, I thought this was really interesting. 93% of Republicans, which shouldn't come as a surprise, but 48% of Democrats, nearly half of Democrats, and 67% of independents believe transgender athletes should only play on the sports team that matches their biological gender. So a pretty interesting breakdown there. Over in California, where you live, there's a ballot initiative that you're hoping passes called the Protect Girls Sports and Spaces Act. Tell us about it and your expectations of it possibly passing.
Well, for any initiative to pass, it takes lots of volunteer time and it takes lots of money. We're going to need about 550,000 valid signatures. We're going to have 6 months to do it. But I think it's a winning issue. We have parents extremely upset here in California that men are in girls' bathrooms and girls' locker rooms and on girls' sports teams. So it's now just about getting the message out. And the rest of the nation needs to come in and support this as well, because we know as California goes, so does the nation.
Yeah, that is true. I think it's also interesting that this issue garners more passion and sometimes aggression than just about any other issue out there. And yet you look at how there is overwhelming support for one stance, which is keeping biological women in women's sports. Where is all that anger coming from?
I think it's coming from the fact that men are taking over women's spaces, women's protected and private spaces. Stats show here in the United States about 1 in 6 women have been sexually abused in their lifetimes. And now we're supposed to stay silent when men are in our locker rooms and changing next to us. People are upset and people are making their voices heard on this.
Sophia, tell us your story and why you decided to speak out.
Yeah, I was a college soccer player at Vanguard University in Southern California, and college soccer was all I wanted to do when I was a 10-year-old girl. And my heart breaks that current 10-year-old girls cannot achieve the same dreams that I had because men are taking their spots. And that's why I feel passionate to speak out against this.
Sophia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.